Happy Days here, and in today's video we're going to go ahead and see the final day of Season 18 of Grand Party, see if we can get 15 out of 15 wins. We just changed our friend captain to Luffy, so let's see what happens when we go into the matches. Oof, that is unfortunate. So we have two Luffys at the top and bottom, and then we have Odin, Roger in the middle there. Let's just take a quick look. It looks like, based on the Yamato there, yeah, it's a side team at the top. It's probably a pretty easy team to beat, but that Luffy burst does scare me for the next two fights there. Middle team, looks like a slasher to start off with. Granted, they have the big hitters there, but at least their Roger Whitebeard isn't maxed. So I might take on this team with the Free Spirit, and let's just check this last team here. So again, you have S18 maxed, you have a pretty crazy Roger and Whitebeard there, and Zoro and Sanji. So it seems like either way, that first match is going to be tough. It just depends whether I want to have to deal with the G5 burst versus the Roger and Odin buff that's there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take on this middle match. We'll just see what happens. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So I'm going to use my Free Spirit team first, just because they should hopefully be able to tank a lot of those hits that are going to come from those units. And we'll kind of see what happens there. So let's choose this team. We'll swap. Now we know that we're assuming that their third team is going to be a quick team, just based on that captain. So I'm going to have my strength team go second, just so hopefully I don't have to run into any issues there. And then hopefully it should be pretty straightforward to secure the victory for that third match with the Slasher team. As long as it's not Slasher versus Slasher, it's almost a guaranteed victory there. So I'm almost debating whether I save, whether I kind of use this first match as just a sacrificial match and just save my burst for the second and third matches. It might be a good strategy just because I'm not sure. I think for the Odin special trigger, they have to get off 8 specials, I believe, something like that. But the good news for us is that there's some Free Spirits on this team, so hopefully, we can debuff them a little bit if we can get the Nami Karina to go. She can reverse their specials, and then we have Smoker and Dory and Bragi on the bench, right, who can do some damage there. So let's just go ahead and see what happens. Like I said, Tom's going to keep us nice and topped off. The question is, who is their S-Hawk going to hit, and who is their Roger Whitebeard going to hit, right? Because that's probably our biggest threat that we can see there. So our units are just about ready to go. So the good news for us is Luffy will go, do 5k damage. Unfortunately, he hit the guy who has type advantage against him, so he didn't do nearly as much with his damage to defense there, which is unfortunate. But yeah, like I said, we just kind of roll on. They'll start doing their specials now. Luckily, we didn't take any death hits, even though when Roger Whitebeard go, that might be a different story. Sanji's just going to go and just raise everyone's special, which is good. We are going to take a shot from K-Dad here. And then, luckily, Otama should be able to heal us up a little bit. I don't think we're going to lose anyone here. Yep, we held on pretty good there. All right, so let's just see what happens here. Obviously, unfortunately, Luffy didn't get to go. That would have been good if he did. But we're just going to get a heal there, which is just going to help us out a little bit. Unfortunately for us, that's going to move all their specials to the front, particularly that... obviously, the special of the Roger Whitebeard is not good. Let's just see who he hits. So the good news is our Luffy survived. So I think if we can get our burst off with the units that we have out here, I think we could probably still secure the win. We'll just have to see how it goes once Luffy is able to get his burst off there. Yeah, let's go ahead and use it. I think a lot of their units are pretty low. This might actually wipe out, just about everyone on their line. S-Hawk is ready to go. Unfortunately, that's just absolutely crappy luck for us. But hopefully, with the units we have here, we can... Well, we don't have any... except for Zoro, I don't think we have any slashers on this team, so Shiki doesn't seem like it'll be that bad of an issue that we'll have to worry about there, but obviously we'd like it if we could kind of kill them before they really get a chance to do too much damage to us here. The the good news is at least S-Hawk is gone. That's the good news for us. And Luffy might just eke us out the victory here. So that was a super close first match, obviously. I mean, Rook's still alive technically. But the good news is that our burst will be ready for the for at least the third match. Depending on how much damage the burst from the Roger and Odin GP captain that they have does, it'll probably just depend on if we use a burst on that second stage or not. I feel super confident that if it's going against the last stage where it's basically our Slasher team versus their quick team, I feel pretty confident that one burst is enough to get us through that match. So let's see here. So interestingly, it's the Cerebral team that's there. We don't have any free spirits, I don't think, on this team. So that maybe Law. I forget if Law is a free spirit or not, but at least that should help us a little bit. Shanks does obviously a lot of damage against Psy units, but we don't have any here. So this might be kind of a good scenario for us. Obviously, we just about lost our Luffy there, which is definitely not ideal. We don't have any healing on this team, so unfortunately, once the Atlas unit goes there, she's going to do a bunch of hits really quick, and that could spell bad news for us. But let's see what happens here. Like I said, ideal scenario would have been Jack to go first before any of them, just so that we could have got a bunch of people down. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use the burst, just so we don't have to kind of go to that third match. I think that this should hopefully be enough to knock out both the Atlas and the Shanks there. It did. Perfect. And hopefully my Luffy can go, and once he goes, he'll just hit the rest like a tank and be able to clear without too many problems. Unfortunately, he got bound, but that's fine. The units that they have left over there aren't too much of a threat to us, and we don't have any style units who they're really meant to take out and debuff. So that's the good news for us there, is that we didn't have to worry about that. If I was facing the Luffy team up for that first opponent that you saw, I probably would have used a team that looks similar to this to take them down. But because I didn't want to have to deal with that Luffy burst, that's why we went with that middle team there, just a little bit safer. All right. Awesome stuff. So we were able to secure that first win of the day. Like to see that. Can't complain. I guess up to 13 wins. Yeah, so let's go ahead and check what our opponent has for round number 2 for us. So luckily for us, 2 people here are using that, technically 3 if you count the top team, are using the strategy to change your captain. So thank you. Huge shout out to these guys. So if I look here, we have a sugar team up here. I believe that's the quick sugar. So I'm guessing that middle team is a blue team. That's just what I'm guessing from there. And then if you look at the bottom, we have the Rebecca Toy Soldier. That's probably obviously the Psy Free Spirit team most likely. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is end up using the Slasher team at the top here. I'm face this guy. Use the Free Spirit team. Actually, I might use the Free Spirit team first, just because if they lose, it's not the end of the world, and there's no burst I have to worry about. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to keep the same order I did last time with the Free Spirit team up front, in case that they have slashers up front, just as kind of an insurance policy, just in case. So let's go ahead and get into this. We'll go ahead and take it on. The only thing I'm trying to think of, I don't think there's anyone on the Psy Free Spirit team that can nerf slashers. So yeah, I think we're good with this. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's fire away, see what happens. Ideal situation, we don't have to go to match number 3, but it all depends what we're facing here. So looks like that is a blue team at the top, even though it looks like some units in the back end. You have the Green Warrior, the Int, Doria Bragi, I forget which one, and the Smoothie. So interesting units that they have out here. I don't quite know the full synergy. I think that's the Dex Law. I can't remember if that's the Dex Law or if it's the Quick Law, but I think that's one of the Dex Laws. But either way, we'll see what happens. We'll let it fly. Like I said, because we're not facing the Slasher team, we don't have to worry too much. I'm guessing that Slasher team might be that middle team, which is fine. We can just have Slashers go against our Strength team and just blow them away. That's not a big deal for us, as long as we can kind of secure the victory for this first match. It just makes everything else much easier. Nami Karina going to go ahead and reverse specials, which is good. We love to see it. My Zoro is max, so he does hit like a truck, luckily, when he does put up his provoke. So it just makes things a little bit easier. Actually, we're going to go ahead and use our burst right here, just so we can. Take out, hopefully, a bunch of those units, bring in a bunch of units from the bench, and then hopefully Zoro will kick off his provoke, which will just make them all attack him, and then we can just slowly build our gauge with these last 4 units going into match number 2. There's a provoke that Zoro's going to put on. And G5 just going to come in and just decimate with his special there. Mori's going to inflict a little bit of stats, but it's nothing, right? And Nami and Karina's just going to take away their specials, force them to hit Sanji, and Sanji's just going to repeatedly punish them for that. So, yeah, first match was pretty easy. Like I said, luckily I think that Free Spirit team is actually pretty good at facing slashers if you don't have a G5 burst. And especially helpful, especially if they do have a G5. Typically the AI won't use it in that first match unless they're really close to losing. So a lot of times what you can do is just go ahead and use that Free Spirit team and not have to worry about getting a burst hit on you when that happens. So it looks like this is kind of a hodgepodge team here. Obviously you have the Shanks crew who can do a bunch of defense. You have Tesoro who ends up doing like the 4k fixed damage. You have S18 who can do the just nasty hits. So yeah, I'm not going to bother using my special here. I do want to save it for the last match just because I think that will be the most beneficial spot, especially in case they have Nami and Karina of their own, for example, on that Sai team. But usually Sai teams don't have Nami and Karina, so I'm guessing that it's pure Sai. So it should hopefully make it a little bit easier for us to deal with there. You get the special bound, which is unfortunate, it is what it is. S-Hawk's going to probably wipe out a unit or 2. Oh, actually, they took it better than I thought they were going to take it. I really thought that they were going to get hit much worse than what happened. So this team has a lot of defense, which is why you can see another 4K hit here. This is where Luffy is just going to clean up. Actually, I know I shouldn't, but I'm using my burst now just to see if I can't take out a couple more. I'm feeling pretty confident with this team. Like I said, I would say I wish Kaido and those guys were more ready to go. But as soon as they go, it should pretty much be over from there. Not too worried about the remaining units. Obviously, Smoker can stop specials, which is always a pain. And just looking, so yeah, S-Hawk's just about ready to go, but I'm hoping that, there we go, with Kaido, he just kind of comes in and takes control and just makes sure that they can't do anything to us. And with that, we secure the match win, and that bumps us up to 14 wins for the day. Awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the teams look like for the third match. All right, awesome. Looks like everyone here did that strategy the day, changing their friend captain. So huge thank out to all 3 of these people. You rock. You're awesome. Helping people get to 15 wins is just fantastic, amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. So, like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Definitely appreciate that. We're going to go take on probably this bottom team, I guess. We could take on really either one. But let's just go ahead and take on that bottom team. We will end up having our Luffy go first, just because we know that first team shouldn't be a slasher team, I don't think. So that should just let us kind of get through content pretty easily there. So let's go ahead and swap positions there. We'll save. We might move our slasher team up, just depending on how this fight goes. Or we might leave them there. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. So it looks like, it looks like it's just a random team. They have a mix of strength units, some dex units, some psi units, with Soa Mask and the Giants on the back end. The Odin there is kind of a little bit of pain because he can do Special Mind, but he's on the back bench. So by the time he comes in, we shouldn't have too many problems here. Kuma does do damage to defense, so you do have to kind of watch out for that. But like I said, not not too worried here. I'll probably use a burst if it looks like it's coming close, just to make sure that we can secure that victory. Jackson just come in and just do a bunch of damage. Love to see it. Charges the gauge almost 3/4 of the way. And Luffy's just going to take out a bunch of units here. Just go ahead and use our special. We get a GP burst against us, which is just 500 damage. And then Law should pretty much just finish that off for us. All right, so there we go. Match number 1 is done. The question is, do you keep Slashers in the 3rd spot? And I think I will. Just so I can use this team just to charge my burst. Make sure I have a burst ready to use for my Slasher team versus whatever team is there. Luckily, again, hodgepodge of units on here. So not too worried about that. We'll just kind of get through the content as quick as we can. And like I said, come out hopefully on the other side with the victory. Crazy 500 damage shot there again. So on this front line, obviously Shanks can do some damage. I think it's like a 25% cut. Kuzan can do some fixed damage. I forget if it's 3,500 or 4,000, just depending on how level limit break their unit is. So obviously that could be potentially a little scary, but I think overall, you know, we're in pretty good shape here. Zoro with the provoke. Sanji's just going to go ahead and boost those specials, get Nami and Karina just ready to go. Like to see it. Just can take some damage here, but nothing kind of too crazy. So that's the 4,000 hit I was talking about, but luckily we have Otama. She can just help heal us up. So it doesn't become that big of a deal at the end of the day. I'm just going to wait for that unit to come in just so we can get some extra hits. But I'll use the burst here. Like I said, we're in no danger of losing or anything like that happening. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing here. Nami and Karina will do the reverse special. All right, one unit left. Hopefully Sanji should clear us up for us. And just like that, we secure 15 out of 15 wins for the season. Thank you so much to everyone who did that strategy of helping out. Just a quick reminder, when you're done for the day, make sure you go into your teams, change your captain so that everyone can have a chance of figuring out Grand Party and getting kind of the best 15 out of 15 reward. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comment section below how your season went, how many total wins you got. Until next time, be kind to each other.